Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Penfield Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded and broadcast live on Penfield Government Access Channel, which includes Spectrum Cable 1303, online at www.penfieldtv.org, and social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, via Town of Penfield Television. Following the proceedings, the video recording will be available on the town's website and on streaming devices Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. All you need to do is search for Penfield TV in your device's app store. And the part of the that I read that says that it's free is now crossed out. Is there now a charge for that?
I don't know.
I get tired of that.
Oh, is it still free though?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank goodness, yes. If anybody tonight wants to address the board on any of the public hearing matters, there's going to be several ways to do that. One is, I'll call it the old-fashioned way, and that's to attend the meeting in person and come on up and comment, ask questions. Another way is to phone in. Probably one of those signs there has the phone number. Yeah, there it is right there. And another way is to submit a comment or question via the town's website before. So every once in a while you'll see me leaning over here and checking to see if anybody's in queue on the phone or we've received an electronic comment. Of course, we find that everybody's input is helpful to us, and we encourage people to participate in that. In fact, we like to say every month that we think the town does a really good job of making sure that people out in the community are aware of what's on the agenda so they can comment if they like or ask questions. How does a town do that? Several different ways. One is by posting the agenda on the website and here at the town hall. Another is by sending property owners that live within a certain number of feet of the subject property a little postcard. We've probably all received them if you live here in town, or other towns do it too. That just says, hey, this property's under review and here's the reason, but if you have any more questions or you want to come in, and it provides information on how to do that. And then another method the town uses is requiring the applicant to post the sign on the property. We've seen those. Looks like a for sale sign, but hey, this property's under review. Here's a number to call if you have any questions. And again, we think it works well for us. So tonight's meeting, we're going to start first with our work session. We'll take care of voting on the minutes from a prior meeting and dealing with tabled items first. And then we'll go right into tonight's new applications and the public hearings. So again, if somebody wants to speak, the applicant and anyone that wants to talk about it, come up to the table at the appropriate time and give us your name and address, and then feel free to address the board. Typically what we'll do during the public hearings is the board member that's assigned as lead on the application will walk the applicant through the process. That's not to limit anybody's time to speak, it's just a more efficient process we have found. And frankly, everyone is required to submit a written application, and most of the time, the applications that we get are pretty thorough and have a lot of details, so we've all gone over them, and it lets us get to the pertinent items right away. So I think that's it. Covered everything. I ask everyone now to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you, everyone. So let's go to the first item, approval of the minutes from the January meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes as written in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to tabled applications. The first one is 59 Wellsbrook Lane, and I believe that the applicant has asked that we continue tabling that.
That's correct, yes. They're out of town. They're hoping to be back and ready to meet with the board in March.
Great. All right, well, I'll make a motion to table at the request of the applicant.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The second one is Silver Maple Dental. Everybody has to give their name individually.
I'm Allison Cohen. I'm one of the owners of Silver Maple Dental. This is Ray. He's here because daycare closed.
Fair enough.
I'm Raphael Cardamone. I'm with Milestone Construction Partners. We're the general contractor building Silver Maple Dental.
Thanks. So I think just to recap from the last meeting, it was tabled, obviously, and we asked the applicants to meet at the site with the neighbor who's here again tonight, just to kind of go over where the sign is going to be and where it could be. And I understand that meeting occurred, and everybody's sort of in agreement that where it's proposed to go is a good place to go. And then we also asked for more information about the effectiveness of the sign in that particular location, and we got that as well. So I don't know if there's anything else to cover. I think that pretty much covers it. I don't know that we did the seeker last time.
I don't think we did. No, we didn't.
We didn't do it. So let's see. It's a type 2 action, would we say?
Unlisted.
Unlisted, okay. So moving on, unless you have anything to add to that? No? Okay. So then we're prepared to move forward with both the environmental review and on the merits of the application. So under the environmental, I'll make a motion to declare it an unlisted action under seeker and further to issue a negative declaration.
I'll second.
Any further discussion on the seeker? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and so into the merits, the request is to allow a freestanding sign with less setback than permitted. We had all the reasons stated for the variance last time, and really the only issue was the one that we've already pointed out. There were some concerns, reasonable concerns expressed by the neighbor, so we suggested everybody get together, and that's exactly what happened. And by the way, we all appreciate that very much, your efforts to do that. So given all that, I would make a motion to approve the sign and the location and the required variance, as is in the application previously.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? And all the conditions that we talked about before, lighting and safety and all those things are going to remain in effect as well, of course. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you again. Appreciate the efforts. All right, the next, see, the next tabled matter,
That was a lean-to. I think it's being tabled again, right?
White Hill Drive be tabled
Yes.
again at the
Yeah.
request of the applicant as well.
Correct. They weren't
yeah,
able
this is
to
a
get the
lean-to.
survey done in time. They did contact a surveyor. He just was backed up and wasn't able to get it done in time for the meeting. So he's hoping to have everything set for March.
Okay, so given that, if you don't mind, I'll
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to table at the request of the applicant.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then the last tabled item is, let's see, what's Harris Road, 1864 Harris Road.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is John Sharaba, representing this application. I'm kind of pitch hitting for Tucker Velpeck from my office. And I know the board heard this presentation last month, but just an overview. Our client, Anthony Pilato, is here this evening and can answer any questions that I cannot. But Mr. Pilato has owned this residence for 4 years, has kind of considered this almost 30 acres his forever home, has made significant upgrades to the house. He's got permits for a pool, hot tub, metal roofing, and made a lot of cosmetic changes to the property. as our application for this pole barn. He is a car enthusiast. He's not a car mechanic. He loves cars. He's got 11 cars spread out through various storage places throughout the county, and his dream is to bring all those cars to one site on his property. He's not working on cars. He barely changes oil on his cars, but he loves his cars, and that's the reason for that size of barn. Also, with a 30-acre property, there's equipment and mowers that are a substantial size that he's trying to incorporate. Our application also noted that we are removing 3 other accessory structures in order to put this barn up. And the board will note that this proposed barn, although it's fairly large, it will not be seen from the traveled public. It's over 250 feet off the road. Trying to put it in a heavily treed area so we don't impact anybody. But Mr. Pilato is really hoping the board accepts the size of it. It's his plan and his wishes, and he's going to do a very, very nice job with the aesthetics of the barn. It's going to be in common with the house. Standing seam roof, metal siding, the garage doors that are shown, those are all glass garage doors. So it's going to be kind of a showpiece more than a pole barn. That's just some additional information. I know we provided staff some examples of other barns in the area, and we're just hoping that the board sees fit to allow this oversized structure on this lot and accepts the variance requested.
Perfect. Great summary. Thank you.
Thanks.
I think last meeting we tabled, Shannon, you provided us a bunch of information about other, I guess, similar variances that we had approved, denied, and I think the closest one that I saw that we denied was a large one, but I think the big difference was, when you look back at the application, was that it was on a very small lot, and they also needed lot coverage variance as well, where this one doesn't require lot coverage. This is strictly, it's larger than the primary residence. If the primary residence was 4,000 square feet, the structure could be that large, but that's what we're up against right now. So I just want to thank you for that. So that was the one thing that we saw in terms of those other variances that stuck out. One question I had, since we're looking at the size of this, and maybe it's also for the owner as well, is there any issues with a condition that the parcel couldn't be subdivided? Since we're doing something this large on a lot this big, would there be any issues with saying that would be a condition to not subdivide?
Looking at the, I'm a land surveyor and land development guy. I always hate to limit my clients. Mm-hmm. If you were to limit it to a number of lots, that could be acceptable, but I think it would be, I don't think that Anthony has any dreams of creating a major subdivision here. He does have a young son. So if you limited it to 2 or 3 lots in the future, but if that, I haven't discussed with him at length if that's an option, but I would hate to limit him to do that.
Sure.
It doesn't set up very well for the subdivision with that large pond that's there. Mm-hmm. The distance off the road would be considerable. Fire trucks and things like that. So I'm open to a deed restriction or something like that if it exceeded 2 or 3 lots.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's more just because of the substantial size of it, and then how do we kind of say, okay, it fits with the lot by being so large. So you kind of keep the lot big, and you say, okay, that's less of a, I guess, variance that you're looking at, or in terms of size-wise.
Yeah, if we were to, I guess, going down your thought process, if you were to limit to say any future subdivision could create lots no smaller than 5 acres, we'd be welcome to that, or keep it to 4.
But I think you'd have to be over 5 acres to support that structure already.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where I'm looking at, that cutoff. If I think you needed, how many acres do you need to be on this parcel? I think this lot can support what, 12,000?
Correct.
So I guess in a sense we're looking at, you're more like 14 than I think that you're closer to, that you'd have to keep for a primary. So I guess that's one thing that I would look at is, is that an option as a condition on there?
Yeah. I guess to limit to a lot number, if we can limit to 3 lots at the most, we'd be comfortable with that.
Okay.
Is that?
I'm wondering.
Or 2 that you're looking at?
Well, it's more of how do we, and I guess I'll look at my board or maybe council, how do we structure something where you keep it that the accessory structure doesn't exceed the lot coverage. So then we're back for another variance when we subdivide. That's something I wouldn't want to have to
Right.
go through again.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Any subdivision require us coming back.
I mean, I would just throw out there that you could maybe limit it, that the parcel, if it is a subdivision, rather than saying how many, that the parcel that this structure will be on has to be within that 1%. And then the rest of it can be subdivided off with whatever is acceptable. That way it keeps the assuming there is a subdivision in the future, would keep that lot, that parcel, that this structure, assuming the board approves it, to that 1%, so that we don't necessarily have to set a specific number, but just to set that the restriction that if there is a subdivision in the future, this lot, this parcel with this structure, assuming it's approved, must still maintain the 1% rule or whatever.
That seems reasonable, and good that you brought this up.
Very comfortable with
You want
that.
a moment to speak with your client?
No, I think we're
Make
very
sure that's
comfortable with
okay?
that. I think that's practical and in line with what you and I were trying to discuss, but the guys with the suits and ties do it better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they dot the i's. Okay. I don't have any other questions besides the additional information we had there.
Anything else from the board?
No.
Okay. I think we're ready to proceed then.
Okay, for seeker, I'll move this to type 2 action pursuant to seeker requiring no further review.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the merits?
And then back to the merits. I'm going to move to approve the variance. There's no undesirable change that was identified that would impact the neighborhood. RA2 is kind of encouraging the agriculture use of land with barns, maintaining open space, the rural landscape, so I don't see an issue with a structure like this in that area. The benefits from the applicant can't be achieved any other way in terms of their size and storage requirements. That's basically the set size that they've determined that they need. I think the size of the barn is not out of character for the area. And if the property owner built a much larger structure, they could support a much larger accessory structure on there. But in this case, we're keeping the primary structure, a 2,000 square foot, but we're looking for a larger storage space. And I don't necessarily see that as a negative for the lot size. No adverse impacts were identified. And I don't see any other issues. I will add that condition that McCall talked about, worded in that way that the minutes will reflect. And that's it.
Yeah, you commented on the, I guess, question that we had before about the interplay between these. Would you mind just kind of summarizing what your opinion was on that?
Certainly. So there's the definitional section of the code that talks about that no accessory structure shall dominate the primary structure, but that is not defined specifically anywhere within the code, versus the specific section of the code that deals with the size of an accessory structure shall not exceed 1%, I believe it's 1% of the acreage. So when you look at it from that specific number, clearly this fits within that section of the code. And so I think it would be a not unreasonable interpretation to say that based on the rural area and other similar sized, we'll say barns and accessory structures that are found in that part of the town of Penfield, that this would be still keeping in line with the code, which again, overall the Penfield code does make a lot of recognition between the parts of Penfield that are urban, more developed, smaller potential lots versus, I'll say, the more easternly, northernly sections that have much more rural farm-type characters. And so I think if you read it together as a whole, I don't think it would be an unreasonable position to say that in light of the code structure and the lack of any definition as to what a dominate actually means, and the 1% specific allowance for accessory structures that this would fit in, I don't think it would be unreasonable for the board to make a finding that would allow for the approval of the variance And again, if the board did want to add the restriction that any future subdivision, this parcel that has this accessory structure must maintain that 1% size.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I appreciate you giving us that opinion before and reiterating it tonight, because just a couple of things. I think that this property is a unique application so far, just, the size of the acreage, which we've heard about, because I do look at the chart that Shannon prepared, and I don't know that we've ever granted one that has a difference like we have now. But there's always, I guess, the first one. So I think we have, Andris has done a good job of successfully distinguishing this particular application that will be, perhaps, if necessary in the future, if somebody says, hey, well, you gave it to Mr. Pilato, therefore you have to give it to me, maybe, if it's a very similar application, but if it's not, then I don't think we're going to be bound by this. So I'm prepared to second the motion to approve. All right, any further discussion on it? All right, we did the seeker, and we have a motion to approve in a second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I think we're ready to go into tonight's public hearings.
Okay. Denise and Jacob Berardi, 165 Watersong Trail, Webster, New York, 14580, request approval for an area variance under Section 250-14.3 of the code to allow a second garage, whereas one garage is permitted under Section 250-5.1-D2 of the code at 165 Watersong Trail. The property is currently or formerly owned by Jacob Berardi and is zoned R120. SBL number 094.01-6-65, application number 26Z0007.
Hi, John.
Hi, Mr. DeLaus. How you doing?
Good.
John Antitomaso, 8 Watersong Trail. Presenting tonight for the Berardis, he is out of town, so he asked me if I can help sit in here. I don't know what was given to you guys or not. Okay, good. I have some similar, I think, than what you have there. So I don't know if I could just pass these out to you guys, I guess. Sure. That'll help. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just not sure what he gave you guys. So we, Antitomaso Homes, who's the developer at Watersong, has built this home on Mayor's Garden and was before the board as well for the same variance. So that was granted, I think, in 2015. The Berardis are currently a resident at Watersong, and they're looking to build this house behind their existing house, mainly because it has a first floor master. And Mr. Berardi was trying to get a design and plan that him and his wife liked, and also trying to get in. They were trying to get in before the electric was supposed to take place, and so they decided on this plan. And then when they came to get a permit from the town, they bought the plan, and the town building department told them that the third-car garage there, and I have a couple of photos of the other one that we built, and there's the exact same house that's currently on Mayor's Garden. That I guess the third-car garage does not have access to the house. You have to go through the porch to get to the house. So that's what's causing the variance, I guess, again. So when I talk to the architect, he says, it happened. I don't know if it would happen in every town or not, but I mean, they sell it online, and he didn't really know that was a variance requirement. But since they have it there, it's a 3-car garage. I guess the only difference is from that 3rd-car garage, you can't get into the house. So that's why we're here this evening.
So just to be clear, there's no connection point between the 2 garages on the interior, right?
Correct.
So I actually think that we're here because they're 2 separate garages. They're not, whereas in other ones, I think, has a connection point. inside between the two garages, which would make it one garage. Is that correct, Shannon?
Yes.
Okay. So can I see the other?
I gave you, did you get all
Is
three?
that, so I thought you brought one from.
Sorry, I gave you all,
Gave us everything?
I gave you 3 copies.
What are you looking for,
I
the
mean, I don't know what.
The one, yeah, the one, you said, I thought you said that there was one.
You've already built.
That was already built.
Yeah, that's this pictures of this one. These are up, this is up at Mayor's Garden, the second picture. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the same, the 2 color photos are the same house that we've built.
I got it. So this was previously built already. Okay.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
So there's going to be, essentially, adding it up together, there's 3 cars.
It's a
correct?
3-car garage total, yes.
And is there any reason that there can't be an interior connection point between the two?
According to this plan, no, I don't believe there is, unless he, it's between the 2 garages, no.
And obviously, other garages within the development are 3-car garages.
Yes,
right?
correct. Large majority of them are 3-car garage.
So Shannon, do you know about this one?
I didn't get a copy of it.
I will give you my copy.
So when I looked up, when this was first, let me back up. I was the building inspector who reviewed the construction plans that were submitted for 165 Watersong. I noted that, there were the 2 separate garages, which then required a variance. I can't remember who I talked to, but he mentioned that there were other houses in the subdivision that had 2 garages like this one. I looked at it, I drove through myself, and I'm a little confused because I did find this house, but then when I looked it up, there were notes in there that told the contractor to seek out a variance, but then they changed the plan of the house. But what was built was this, so I'm a little confused about what happened there. I don't know if there weren't sufficient notes. I couldn't find a variance. So I'm not totally sure where the miscommunication is, what our records
So
are showing.
let me just clarify. What's the address of the other one, John?
So that was during the Homerama, so we actually sold a lot to Sal Barbera, who owned Northside Roofing, so he bought the lot and went in there.
What street's it on?
It's on Mayor's Garden, but I'm trying to think of the number
so
one.
the
It's
Mayor-
20-something.
The Mayor's Garden one has 2 garages. Is there an internal connection?
I don't believe there is. I believe they did it just to this plan.
Okay. And did you say that a variance was, your memory is a variance was granted?
I believe so,
From
but
around 2015? I remember that Homerama.
2014 was the Homerama, and then he purchased a lot a couple doors down from the Homerama. I think it's 2015, because we did Homerama 2014. So around 2014-15, this exact plan was done.
Yeah, so if a variance was granted before, a similar variance, it would be, I would really like to know that for sure.
Yeah,
You
I
guys
can
probably
double
would,
check
too.
it.
Now that you have the address, maybe
Yeah,
that helps, or the year.
I'm confused because I swear I looked it up and there was a note in there that said that it was communicated that
Need a variance.
a variance would be needed.
Okay.
However, then they changed the layout of the house so that a variance
and
wasn't needed.
Perhaps made a connection.
Correct, but then it looks like what was built was the original plan, so maybe,
Yeah, there's no
I'm not
connection
sure,
there.
maybe there was a variance that was
I
sought
think-
out,
yeah.
or there was miscommunication and something was built.
Yeah, I
knows?
think, I
I'll
believe
have to
there
look.
was. We didn't build the house, but now he's since sold it again, too. They just sold it last year.
Yeah. Well, it's easy enough to verify.
Yeah, so I
would
can at
think.
least verify if a variance was awarded for this, or if there was some miscommunication between the town and the contractor and what actually happened. I can
And
find that out.
Would you feel comfortable talking with the current owner to see if that if there is a connection, because it could be that they just change the plans. That's up to you. I'm not going to make you do that, but
What do you
it'd be
mean?
nice to know if there is a connection.
Okay.
Such that they-
On the existing one, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, I don't know how you would connect it, but with this plan, I mean, what would you, I mean, I don't know how it could connect to the other garage.
who knows
I
what,
think you would add something on
I
the
guess the
outside.
question is, did they do something
look
back
like-
then to do away with the need for a variance?
Okay.
I don't know. If they didn't, they didn't, and then
I
the
mean, if
question
you-
is begged, well, they were told
Yeah.
they need a variance.
If you look at the second picture I gave you of the garage, I mean, it's exactly like this. There's a porch
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah.
So unless they, I mean, the only thing they could have done is put a door into the house, but it wouldn't have connected the garages.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the only real way is enclosing the porch and trying
Exactly.
to turn it into the garage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll do
But,
some research and
You know, but.
straighten
it's-
that out.
I mean, it's almost 3,000 square foot house. It's beautiful. It sits up
Oh,
nice.
yeah,
It
I don't
sits on
think
the lot perfectly.
that's an issue at all.
Yeah.
The house is it's going to look nice. I mean, the way that you folks build houses now, not just you, but everybody, the way you hide the garages is incredible. I mean, they look, it's like, where the hell's the garage? And then you say, oh, geez, it looks like the side of that. Oh, did I say, oh, heck, where the heck is the garage?
I didn't hear it.
And all the kids are off of school probably watching. In any event.
For free.
But I do think, that if there was a variance requested and it was granted the very same, that to me is going to help your case a lot.
Yeah,
So I
agreed.
do think it's worth checking into that.
Yep.
The other thing is, I'm interested in knowing, and I asked,
Yeah.
why do
why?
we have a rule that says you can't have two garages? I'm just kind of curious, and
I agree with you. This plan, this greater living, they sell
beautiful.
this all over town.
Yeah.
We've built this multiple times in other
Yeah.
towns. It's just that when you go
and
to do
the only
Penfield.
thing,
I think so, off the top of his
yeah,
head.
yeah, Andy would have known. What I was wondering is whether it's a connection to, don't we still have a rule that family members have to, maybe it's that, and if you have two separate garages, maybe it's more likely that
In-law or
people are
Yeah, the number of
cohabitating that aren't
individuals.
family.
Yeah, it could be.
That's about the only thing I could think of, so, but I don't, that's not the case here at all, so that would.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's some kind of fire code, but I would expect it to be in other towns if it was related to the fire code.
Right, okay.
So you thinking tabling it?
Well, you're the lead, so, but I kind of bogarted the application, didn't I?
I'm going to make a motion to table this.
I'm going to second it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take it up first thing next month then, but if you have any more info about the history, that would be great.
I know, but even if you table it, it's fine, but I mean, even if it was just like this and we didn't have that house, we would still be before you for the variance, so,
There's one more example of one out there now that,
I'm sorry?
but now there's one more out there in town that says, see, just like this one.
Yeah, and the other reason to table, the one that I just mentioned to Michael is, I'd like to know why it's prohibited so that we can inquire about that too. My guess is your answers are going to probably weigh in favor of granting the variances anyway, because to me, the number one issue here is how's it going to look? But does it have to do with the use? That I just don't, honestly, I just don't know. So,
Agreed. We need to know why is that in place?
right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you made the motion. Did we get a second? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. All righty. Next application, please.
Okay. Julie DeRoller, 1320 Harris Road, Webster, New York, 14580. Request approval for area variances under Section 250-14.3 of the code to allow 2 storage buildings on the property, whereas 1 storage building is permitted under Section 250-5.1-F12 of the code with less setback than permitted under Section 250-5.1-F12B of the code and larger than permitted under Section 250-5.1-F12A of the code with a height taller than permitted under Section 250-5.1-F12 2-12C of the code to allow an existing single-family residence with less setback than permitted under Section 250-5.1-F1 of the code at 1320 Harris Road. The property is currently or formerly owned by Matthew and Julie DeRoller and is zoned RA2, SBL number 09504-2-59.2, application number 26Z0008.
All right, maybe we have your name and address, please.
Certainly. My name is Brian White from McMahon LaRue Associates. We're acting as agent for this application. Unfortunately, Julie is not available to attend the meeting tonight, but we have prepared a presentation. Julie is preparing a 2-lot subdivision on the property to construct a single-family home on the on the easterly side of the extent of the property. We have had this application to the planning board last month, who has reviewed it and conditioned on obtaining variances for this project. As you can see in front of us here, I do have a markup of where these variances apply to help understand the narrative of how these could be justified. I think what I'll do is systematically go through a lot of these. We'll start with the variance for the front setback for the existing dwelling. By code, for the primary dwelling is 50 feet. This is a pre-existing non-conforming structure. My records indicate that the structure was constructed somewhere around 1900, so it's been in the community for a long time. We're proposing to seek a variance for 40 feet for the front setback. So that's the first variance. The second variance I want to talk about is on your screen on the upper side of the screen, north extent of the property. There's an existing woodshed, also pre-existing non-conforming to an existing property line. We're proposing a side setback of 26.1 feet where 50 feet would be required. Again, this is an original line to the existing property. It's not part of the proposed subdivision line. We did maintain, as you can see on the right side of your screen, our proposed subdivision is greater than 50 feet from these structures, complying with the code. The next variance is for the height. There's an existing barn on the property. Our estimations indicate that it is over 20 feet. We estimate that it's at 24 feet. I know that Julie and her husband have just recently renovated the barn. They have a metal roof on there. I'm not sure if many of you visited the property recently, but they have put funds into restoring the barn and maintaining that. I believe that there's a small working area inside. Unfortunately, the structure does exceed the 1% requirement for this parcel. As we propose our subdivision, this particular lot, known as Lot 1, is approximately 2 acres. So we do exceed the threshold at 1%. What would be permitted by code is 877 square feet. The existing barn is 1,326 square feet. The last and final variance is 2 accessory structures on the property. Again, both of these structures have been there for as long as, around 1900 from the tax records I have available. So we would seek relief to allow the structures to remain. The woodshed is currently used for storing lumber, wood, miscellaneous, lawn equipment, and the barn is used for additional storage, and there's a small office area in there as well. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. So from the subdivision or proposed subdivision, the only new variance is from the lot cover or the size, that 1% for the size of the accessory structures here. Everything else would still maintain even if the lot wasn't subdivided?
That's correct, yes. Okay. So what's driving our, most of it is pre-existing non-conforming, excluding the 1% lot coverage requirement.
Okay.
And I will like to note as well, the westerly property where the existing dwelling is 2 acres, the remaining acreage is approximately 4 acres. What's unique about this property is that a large portion of the proposed Lot 2, where we're going to construct a dwelling, contains a New York State regulated wetland. We have recently obtained this week a jurisdictional determination from the DEC. So not only is there a wetland on the property, but it does include a 100-foot buffer. So we've worked to not encroach onto that wetland area, but still be able to construct a single-family dwelling. So that's what's driving our proposed lot line in between both of these parcels. There technically could be reconfiguration of that lot line. Unfortunately, with the acreage required, it would be in an irregular shape, and it's my opinion as a land surveyor, it wouldn't be a preferable lot configuration.
Excellent. And then the two accessory structures, they are within a woodlands EPOD. And Shannon, I think that believes they can't cut down trees around there without approval or coming to the town to do that. So in a sense, that's a, I'll say, forever wooded area that encloses those both.
Yeah, that would be through the engineering department.
Okay. I think that's, I'll say, so a lot of this is administrative, I'll say, from the aspects that a lot of these are pre-existing already and are not impacted from the subdivision, except for the 1% rule for the size of the accessory structures. Okay.
Correct, and that only applies to the barn. Part of our, yes.
Yep. That's, I don't have any further questions. I don't know if you guys do.
Question I have is when you were talking about the height variance request, you used the word estimated. So if at the end of the day we grant a variance, I don't know if you can get something more exact, just so, I mean, it's always best for future owners if the variance is as accurate as possible.
Absolutely. I did submit a graphic with this application showing the approximate height of the barn. It hasn't been surveyed necessarily, but I think I'm within a foot or so. So if that's an item that you'd like, I can add that.
Well, the concern is if we give you a 4-foot variance and you need a 5.5-foot variance, not that we wouldn't enjoy seeing you again, but you get the point, I think, yeah. Okay. All right. So I don't see anybody calling in, nor do I see any electronic comments, so I'll ask if we're all set. Did we say we're all set? Anyone in the audience care to speak about this? Come on up. You can hang there, and it's easier to ask questions.
Dave Woodward, 1530 Harris Road, and I also own some properties very close to this. My only concern isn't with the actual leaving the barns and house the way it is, it's the additional lot that they're looking at creating relative to drainage and the buffer and the wetlands that are involved with that, and such that any development on that would not impede on the neighboring properties relative to drainage. So that's my concern with that.
It's a good point, and I should have asked, what's happened at planning board? Do you have
The application's tabled, currently pending outcome of tonight's meeting, as well as part of the jurisdictional determination process with the DEC, which we just received earlier this week.
Okay, so
we do have a site plan into the planning board currently.
All right. Did you go to planning board or?
No.
Okay, because I understand issues overlap sometime, but that seems to be, because we have existing structures, that is certainly a planning board issue. Not that I'm passing the buck here at all, but it's, I guess if we vote to approve this, we probably would say comply with all planning board conditions as well, including, any environmental conditions that may exist. Okay, thank you. Good seeing you. Anyone else in the audience care to speak about this? All right, let's move forward then.
Okay, for seeker, this is a type 2 action pursuant to seeker requiring no further review.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. And to the merits, I'm going to move to approve the variances. Many of these are administrative, and I'll call them administrative because they've been there. This has been there since the 1900s. The road's probably gotten wider, and now the setback from the road, that 50-foot now is now down to 40-some feet. I think a lot of that's happened over time. The structures have been there for a long time in a wooded area, so they can't be seen from the roadside. And as far as we can tell, they have not caused any issues with there being two structures on there of that size. There's no other adverse effect or impact from these variances being granted because they're already pre-existing on the site, so we wouldn't expect any other environmental issues to occur from there. And this is one that I would say it's not self-created for most of the variances, except for the subdivision creates the self-created portion for the 1% rule for that one accessory structure. But I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve for the reasons stated and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we know the date of the next planning board meeting?
I had a
Just so
feeling
Dave
you were going to
knows.
ask that. I
That's
don't
all right.
have that information in front of me, sorry.
Dave has the number to the town hall. Okay, great. Next application, please.
All right. John W. Hodo, 1105 Ridgeway Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14615, requests approval for an area variance under Section 250-14.3 of the code to allow development with more lot coverage than permitted under Section 250-5.6-D2 of the code at 480-484 Plank Road. Property is currently or formerly owned by Malcho's 480 Plank Road Holdings LLC and is zoned LB. SBL number 93.19-1-46, application number 26Z-0009.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Sharaba with Land Tech here on behalf of the applicant this evening. As the public notice states, this property is owned by Mr. Melko, who's owner and operator of the convenience store and liquor store located at the intersection of Plank Road and Empire Boulevard. Early last year, Mr. Melko had an opportunity to purchase the adjacent property to his business. That property is 100 foot wide, 200 foot deep, and immediately adjacent to his property. Mr. Melko is a very successful businessman, and although this property was very expensive, he thought it'd be a good opportunity where he could expand his business. I think if we did the history of this property, there's probably a laundry list of variances in order to get this approved when this store was constructed. To that end, he is proposing an addition to his building and another gas service area. And that was his goal. So we made application came up with a concept and made application to the zoning board, and the only variance required was lot coverage. Lot coverage requires to be a minimum of 65%, and we were at 78%. As this board knows, we're also making application to the planning board and kind of a parallel process going in. So the plan that we provided to you folks for review and approval of the variance is a little different than the planning application that we submitted recently to the planning department. And that's twofold. The application that we submitted to the planning board shows the closure of our westernmost entrance on Plank Road. That was driven by the Monroe County DOT trying to limit the interference at that corner. So we are doing that. We also, if you look at the site plan we provided you, we had some gas pumps really close and adjacent to our eastern neighbor. We were able to move that away from the neighbor, and we also modified the addition size. All that being said, the application tonight at the 78%, the new lot coverage is still right within that area, so we're right at 80 with the new configuration. But we believe it's a better layout with the new site plan. We're not asking for any additional variances, a little tweak of the coverage requested, but the benefits, I think, outweigh the other issues. We're able to, if you're familiar with the site, this is the one convenience store that has the dumpster in the front yard. The site plan that we have now, we're taking that dumpster and moving it into the back. That's definitely more aesthetic for the traveling public and will function well. We've shrunk the width of the proposed addition. This is just an addition to service the building. We're not proposing another tenant. So Mr. Melko is very excited about this project, but I think with the area variance, or excuse me, with the area variance for the lot coverage, it's typical for projects of these sizes, and I think we've done a good job trying to buffer the neighbors and maximize what we need to do and keep conventional parking stalls and drive aisles in play. So that's really why we're here. I do have a hard copy of the updated, I don't know if you have the one we submitted to planning.
I don't have it with me.
But it's very similar to this, other than we've closed the entrance and we moved those gas pumps more internal into the project. And the deviation of that 2% is nominal, in my opinion.
Okay. So the gas pumps that you say that you moved are depicted in the, they're like the dotted area there?
Yes.
Is that where it says proposed steel pipe bollards that?
Yeah, those are 2 gas islands. And we basically shifted those westerly about 40 feet.
40 feet is good, because the structure on the lot east, is that a house?
That is a house.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I could share with the board the hard copy and bring it up to you if that helps, of the new plan, just
Sure.
quick.
I mean, I think you've described it adequately, but
I'll bring it up.
Or you still hang, everyone ever brought prints, used to hang prints back in the day?
some of the
No. I
magnetic
mean, there used to be, that was almost automatic. Now everything's electronic.
Well, you could wheel that over here if you want to put it up there, but that's up to you. Yeah, no,
I'll just do a brief, if you
Yeah.
don't mind me standing here. So in this area,
I just don't know if they can capture that on the camera. I don't know that she's saying no.
I don't think so.
so I'll try to describe it again. So the site plan that we're proposing at the next currently made application to at the planning board has modified slightly to the one you have. The main fact is closing the entrance, so we're only going to have one entrance off of Plank Road, which is in the new parcel. So it's about 100 feet easterly of the existing access to the store.
What's the distance the entrance will be moved easterly? About?
I'm going to say about 100 feet.
Yeah, because that is a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
You have to almost rely on somebody letting you out.
Yes.
Which I don't live far from there. I drive past it probably 12 times a day. And so that, to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah, we work very closely with Monroe County DOT.
Yeah.
And, obviously, my client, I do a lot of commercial stores like this. They don't want to give up an entrance. We tried hard. But we see the benefit.
There's also one off Empire that's staying,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So this helps with our traffic flow. It also helps with the new location with the gas delivery. So now that the gas truck can come in and that it's not squeezed in, they have adequate room now to stage for the 20 minutes that they're dumping gas. But that's why we have more area we're going to put landscaping in that area where that original entrance was.
So that would be creating green space.
Yeah, more green space there. The addition itself has got skinnier. We're only going to ask for a 30-foot wide, but it's going the total length of the building. That'll allow more storage for the liquor store and more space for the C-store. We also will have a secondary entrance from the eastern side of that new addition, and we have parking and new handicap going in there. No pavement will be closer than 5 feet of our eastern property line, and we'll work with the planning board on screening or fencing and how they will see fit with that. But the current plan, we're at 80% max lot coverage, but I think it's a benefit, and the upgraded landscaping, the movement of the dumpster from Empire Boulevard to the back of the property, I think those are all benefits and will be more in line and help the character of the neighborhood.
So do you know approximately the 15%? Let's say 15% now, because you're thinking you're at 80.
Yeah.
What square footage does that ballpark equal to?
Ooh, you're stumping me on that one.
Well, let me tell you why I'm asking. Because, let's say it's, I don't know, 10,000 square feet just for.
Yeah.
Can you reduce the size of the addition to make up some of that? To reduce the variance requests?
So I think the variance request, why we're getting up to that level is more the geometry. If let's say, to your point, if we shrunk that addition to 20 feet instead of 30.
Right.
We still have the area of the drive lane widths of the parking area back there and the sidewalk. What we've done is we've offset the sidewalk from the proposed addition as it currently stands to incorporate more green space. We have a tree planting area now where we didn't on the other one. We're really trying to come up with more landscaped green space, even though we're impacting the lot coverage over the 65. So, we've pulled the parking lot back from our northern property line. I think the benefit to my client having the 30-foot addition is substantial.
Okay,
He's
and
looking for that square footage.
It's going to be used for storage for the liquor store?
It's the storage of liquor store, but the whole C-store will be remodeled.
And so it's going to be retail space for the convenience store?
Correct.
Okay. All right, fair enough. And it just seems like kind of an awful lot of parking for that use there. Is there any potential for land banking or?
Well, he's not here for a variance for parking.
No, I know, but I'm just saying if you eliminate parking, there's more green spape.
But if he eliminates parking, will he then need a variance for the parking?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're very close to that need. The parking's, we're required 44 parking spots with this plan, and we're right there with those spot counts if we count the parking, the aisles of the pumps in our park count. But could we lose a space or two? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that to bank them at the planning level if that's
Right.
a benefit.
I guess what I would say, first of all, I don't think 80% is a huge variance. I'll tell you that, and you've done a good job. My feeling at the moment is I'm going to make a motion to approve. But I would ask that you make a good faith effort to see if you can land bank, because convenience store and even frankly liquor store, people tend to be in and out. So maybe you don't need, I don't know how many spots there are, I didn't count them up, but it does seem like a lot, and the issue with the current lot that I see, in addition to exiting and entering, more exiting, is being the traffic flow of people that use the stores and then want to leave, and all of a sudden a car's pulling away from the gas pump and you're like, holy mackerel,
Yeah.
People better be paying attention. And I think you're going to address that as well. But I've just never, I guess I haven't, now they're going to expand, I get that. I just don't know how much of an expansion is going to, how much that will result in the need for that much more parking. But, what do I know?
I think, we're here at the Zoning Board of Appeals, and we live and die by the code and what the code says. Well, the code for parking is not written specifically for convenience stores.
Right.
And the nature of the business, as you pointed out, is in and out, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So we'll take a hard look at that. And if we
Good.
can eliminate some parking or bank it, we'll do so.
There's 29 spots right now that are marked on this plan, and that doesn't include the gas pumps.
Right. So,
It's quite a few.
yeah. Okay, any other questions from the board? No, I don't see any phone calls or electronic submissions. Anyone in the audience care to speak about this? Okay, very good. Then I think we are ready to proceed. The first motion I'll make is under seeker to declare this a type 2 action.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion under seeker and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And now on the merits of it, I think that the variance request is appropriate under the circumstances here. I do think that this plan, although an expansion is going to result in a better use of the property, haven't heard any indication or testimony from anyone else about potential adverse effects from the variance request, and it's a lot coverage. I do, again, encourage at least the thought, the good faith effort to consider land banking, and I ask if we could let the planning board know that
Sure.
that's something that we would like them to consider as well, so that maybe we could hit that 65% if we don't need the parking. Safety paramount, though, of course. If we need the parking, we need the parking. In any event, for those reasons, I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to leave this current copy here for you guys?
I think so, yeah. I'm not going to bring it home, but she'll,
Put it on the fridge?
yes. Did a good job pitch hitting tonight, too, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, next application, please.
Okay. Peter Vonderland, 156 Farmbrook Drive, Rochester, New York, 14625, requests approval for area variances under Section 250-14.3 of the code to allow a deck and a hot tub with less setback than permitted under Section 250-5.1 F1 of the code to allow an existing single-family residence with less setback than permitted under Section 250-5.1 F1 of the code at 156 Farmbrook Drive. The property is currently or formerly owned by Peter and Donna Vonderland and is zoned R120, SBL number 123.11-1-53, application number 26Z-0010.
Good evening.
Good evening. Peter Vonderland, 156 Farmbrook Drive. My wife and I purchased the property 17 years ago. We've put significant investment into the property, improving it as much as we can. We'd like to continue with that investment and improvement by adding on to part of our deck in our backyard. That will move slightly over the 10-foot setback, given the kind of pizza pie slice shape of the property. We have a corner that's going to be about 18 inches to 2 feet over the 10-foot setback. That is toward the neighbor side. That is 140 Farmbrook Drive, owned by Colleen Farmer. As part of the application, I included a letter from Ms. Farmer who said that she has no objection to the project and that she sees no negative effects to the neighborhood or to her property, and that she supports the variance. I'm here to seek your support for it.
Looks like somebody bit off the end of the pizza, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, we got hungry neighbors.
Yes, so first and foremost, excellent application. Details were very good, the drawings. I did drive by to take a look. Certainly the shape of the property presents some unique challenges. And the house itself, actually, part of this request is to give you a variance for an existing, because with the placement of the house. So I honestly, taking a look at it, other than possibly shrinking the size of that deck a little bit to reduce it, if that would be that's one thing I think of that might be a possible remedy to eliminate the variance need, if you could still construct the deck and the hot tub by moving it in 2 feet, if that would still work.
According to the architect, it would create some difficulties with flow and for the size of the hot tub we want to put in. So our hope was that, given that the neighbor has no objection to being over the property, the setback, that it would be okay. This is something that we did consider and asked about, but the landscape architect was pretty adamant that he felt like we wouldn't be happy with the end result unless we got the variance, so asked me to put it in the application.
Understood, yeah, and you have talked to the neighbor on the side, and they've indicated they don't have a challenge on that. That was really my only question, was to see if there was the opportunity to reduce the overall size. Drove by, it doesn't look as though, and when you drive by, it's not like you're going to be able to see it. There's no impact to the house on either side. So I don't have any further questions.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Nothing. I mean, this is just one of our more common ones. You have a tapered lot, and usually there's like that little piece that just doesn't quite work, and this is an example of that.
And again, the applicant did do a good job of drawing out all the issues.
It's a really good application, yeah.
All right, I don't see anybody on the phone calling stuff, nor do I see any electronic comments. So I'll ask anyone in the audience care to speak about this? No? You're just here to watch?
We're the neighbor on the other side. We're just looking to get the information on what's happening.
Okay, great, very good. All right, then let's move to the consideration.
Well, we'll start with seeker. This is, I would say this is type 2 pursuant to seeker, no further action necessary.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And now the merits?
On the merits, I would certainly recommend at this point an approval. It's a very small variance. The lot shape and size does result in some challenges being able to put things in. You did explore the possibility of downsizing, and your architect basically said that really was not recommended. So for, this not going to be really an impact to the neighbor. On the one side has already said they don't care. So based on that and the fact that he really can't get past the variance due to the lot structure, I would recommend approval.
I'll second.
The only thing I would add as well is that from the application and the presentation, I expect the property be very well maintained and, looks really nice. So I don't think there's any concern about that at all.
No.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve for the reasons stated in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good
thank
luck.
you.
You're welcome. And I think that was it. Last application, that was it, right?
That's it.
Okay, so we do have a couple of tabled ones again, carryovers. Other than that, we are done for the evening, and we'll see you next month. Thank you very much.
Night.
Have a good